Hey everybody, Edo here, and this is Feud, and it is live on Kickstarter now. As you can see, this is a gigantic box, and actually it's an interesting one because I don't usually pick up larger games for Kickstarter previews. I find them hard to get the table and things like that. But this was a two-player head-to-head game, and actually even when I was reading the rulebook, I was like, oh, this is pretty straightforward. I get it. Easy to jump into. And like in my head, I didn't even realize how big this thing was. But here we are. And so Feud, and I'm going to put this on the ground in a second, but basically Feud is like the idea of perhaps taking a CCG like Magic and saying, hey, could we boil this down so that we can get the fun and replayability and engagement of those types of games, but do it in a way that, you know, isn't about opening a bunch of decks. How would you get that variability of play, the interesting decisions, etc.? And also, how could we do it in such a way that it's, you know, everyone sort of has equal footing? It's I think there's probably a term for it, but basically a head-to-head game where everyone has standing resources. It's not about we created our own deck and brought our own things. It's we both have access to the same content. And I have to say, and I wasn't part of that conversation, but the designer is Joaquin Engforce. Sorry, I apologize for mispronouncing it. But the designer here, I think did it. I think did a really nice job of it. So this is an epic two-player game. Each player has their own giant map, and you use a lot of it. So, like, but a giant play space, and then you have this communal hit point, silver count, magic insight ability board that has all the cards you're going to be using. So setting this up is like a big setup. This is a lot for a card game. It's a lot of room. But what I think is a standout about this game, and these go head-to-head, so you can't really see it, but the top here is Battlefield. So these will be face-to-face with these connected, and we're moving our cards through this space. But here's something I really like about this game. There are I don't know, 100 or 80 or something different unit types in the game. No, probably lower than that, I could probably tell you. More like 40 different unit types in the game. Each one has 4 cards. And so at the start of the game, you're actually going to, and they have some drafting cards, but you're actually going to pull out a small set of these units. There's some beginner setups, but let's say you have 9 of those units. So you're not going to be using all of them at all, and different combinations of them. And then so each one of these has 4 of those cards. So you're essentially going to fill out this market with the units, the 9 different types of units, or however many you load out, and there'll be 4 of each. Players are going to then use silver to buy those units and play with them, but even more so, you can't even buy more than 2. So it's literally display of units. Each player has access to 2 of them. Then in addition, there are magic cards, and you're going to get a small set of the total number of magic cards, like I think 3 sets. And those are going to be split up by player. And then there's these insight cards where you're going to do the same thing. So it's this game where there's this, and actually in the box, there's like this huge, you have the cards, but then, you know, like they have all the information about it and all of the storage stuff. But you're basically, you have this huge library and you're bringing in different sets of stuff. And so, excuse me, the variability of it is really pretty huge, and I didn't exhaust playing it, but using different cards in the sets actually provided some different experiences. Like overall, it works. There are a number of leaders. The leaders actually are the same. I wonder if they'll add more down the line as another way to add more variability. But essentially what's going to happen is on this board, you're going to play your cards. And one of the neat things is you start with a leader, but you'll summon other cards, and they live in the space. And the leader sits between 2 spaces on these little like diamond spots, but the other cards are within spaces. And where they are represents if they're in the battlefield, they can attack. If they're on the wall, they can defend, and they get bonus to defend. If they're in the homestead, you can get resource get cards. If you are on the market, you're going to earn money. Sacred Grove is insight, and then you can also have things in the graveyard, and there's different abilities that have units that are in the graveyard. But each turn, you're going to have your units out, and then you get to move everybody one spot. And so there's this really interesting resource attack management game where you're deciding, do I want to get money? Do I want to get more insight? To use spells, I need those insight points. The insight cards. The other spells you use silver to cast. And how I'm summoning and moving units, and there's some units that are really good at combat. There's some units like a merchant that's really good at making money. So when do I summon a unit? Where do I put them? How do I move it along? But combat resolution's super easy. And, when you attack and defend, and your leader system's really easy. It all just works. Like, it's a huge footprint. It's a ton of game in a two-player environment. So, that is all to say, if you really love head-to-head two-player games and you're looking for an alternative to CCG or something with that kind of variability, but not, not having to buy packs and be opening it up, and you have an opponent you can play a lot with, or regular gaming with, and the space for it, I think it's pretty awesome. I really dig it. It's light. It's not too complex. It's not where Magic went after decades, right? It's not like, oh, he's phasing in and out, and now he's turning it. It's straightforward, but because everyone has access to the same decision trees, it really works. It doesn't, there are some things that come out where you can sort of be on your back foot and be losing and hard to come back from because you don't have any surprises. You can have surprises in your hand, but your opponent knows your option space, your decision, your choices. So I think this game has a good okay, yeah, you've beat me type of thing with even if you don't take all my damage down. But it works, and I was pretty impressed with the variation that came from the system and how they collapsed it down into a pretty simple rule set. So, the rule book is big because the whole box is big, but I want to say the rules for this game fit on it's 6 pages of pretty good sized text, not a bunch of corner cases. There's a few, but anyway, it works. I dig it. I thought they did a nice job. I don't know the price point and all that, so that's something size and price point I'd probably be consideration, but it delivers on fun. I dig it. So this is Feud. Hey everybody, Edo here, and thanks for watching Gaming with Edo. Reviews over here on this playlist, League and Insider videos over here on this one. Subscribe, share, all that good stuff. But most importantly, play some great games. Thanks. Bye.